All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Game number 3 between MTW's Dimaga and ATN's Socke. I want to say Socke every time I see his name. I don't know what it is. It just looks like Socke, doesn't it? When I said that once, someone said it was disrespectful. Look, it's the way I pronounce things. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. I ain't disrespecting no one. So, anyways, Protoss versus Zerg. We are here on the Lost Temple. This is not Shattered Temple. This is not the revised latter edition of Lost Temple. This is just straight up Lost Temple. We see these ledges here, and this is probably one of the sole reasons that Zerg players hated this map. So abusable. You can drop High Templar up here and storm the mineral line. You can put siege tanks up there as a Terran player and just blow up Zerg expansions. Hell, I even remember during the beta, I saw a lot of TLO doing a Thor drop up there, and that was obnoxious. The Thor hugged the edge and could hit the hatchery. I mean, how absurd is that? Just ridiculous, I would have to say. So anyways, yes, Protoss versus Zerg, game number 3 here. MTW's Dimaga versus ATN's Socke. And here goes the scout right now. Let's see if Dimaga's going for that exact same build. He's been going for that same build the past 2 games in a row. And it has been, of course, that extractor in a pool. And it looks like we're seeing a little bit different here. Nope, never mind. I lied. There's the extractor. And that pool is going to be following shortly thereafter. And yes, they're going to be opening up again on one base with that metabolic boost opening. I guess really that's just something that Dimaga's been playing around with a lot. And it can be quite effective. You know what I'm really liking in PvZ, though? I'm really liking Spanishua's latest build. Just go Mass Queen, no gas until 40 supply-ish. It's hilarious to watch, for one. And seems to be quite effective as well. Although, you know, it's going to depend on where you are on the map and everything. Keep in mind here, we are, of course, close position. So obviously, Dimaga is going to need to be wary about that. He doesn't know quite as of yet that we are close position. He's not fully aware of that. He hasn't obviously scouted at this point. But once he sees that, you got to be concerned. Close position here on Lost Temple can be a very dangerous game indeed. Just look at the move distance between these two bases. Very short. Not a lot of room in between. So there's not a lot of wiggle room when it comes to you have to play safe, basically. That's what I'm trying to get across. You got to play safe when you're this close position on any map like this. Lost Temple especially, I'd have to say. We can see Socke right now. There's that wall off formed. Cybernex core right there. No second gas quite yet. Maybe seeing that sometime soon. Dimaga pulling off the gas here, getting the metabolic boost, and then getting that expo. Yep, so pretty much the same opening that we've been seeing him do for the past 2 games in a row. Worked for him quite well last game, and I'm going to be interested to see if we see Socke try to come out again with that Phoenix harass. That would be something that would be very dangerous here if there was a strong early push from Dimaga, but we don't know. Dimaga hasn't done an early push. There are those 4 Zerglings, though, coming out, and Socke needs to pull away with this worker. He, of course, does not want to lose that. We have that first Zealot just making its way on through. There it is, hanging out of the wall. Warp Gate Research coming on through, and there is that Sentry. So going to be going with that Sentry instead of the Stalker. Stalker, not necessary. It's actually almost preferred, in all honesty, to get that Sentry first. For the reason, in this matchup, you got the wall off finish, get the Sentry first, because it's going to let you store up that energy for those force fields. Things like roach rushes, things that can be a little bit of a concern, you want to make sure that you're prepared for, and having enough energy with that Sentry is definitely going to allow you to deal with that much more easily. I mean, you know, Baneling bust and all, like, this stuff doesn't happen often, especially in these professional games. You don't see a lot of Baneling busts, all-ins, or anything like that, but it could. So getting that Sentry is just, you know, it's insurance, basically. It's going to let you handle it quite a bit more easily. And here we go, another gateway coming down. And what else does Socke got planned? Does he got a 3rd gateway making its way on through? Maybe he's moving around. He's doing something here. Yeah, that's a pylon. Okay. I'm not impressed with the pylon. Dimaga looks like he's going to be going for that same style build here. I'm guessing Roach Heavy. You can see, as mentioned in the prior game, just droning up. Very comfortable right now to just drone up. There's that Creep Tumor as his Queen makes it in transit, transferring down those workers. Actually, just the 4. You usually see more than just 4. You usually see at least 5. What is he doing? Just something a little funny over there. Here's that Overlord getting ready to sacrifice his life for some scouting. And actually, look at that. Socke prepared for that Overlord. He spots it. So Overlord's going to be forced to push away. So not going to be able to take him by surprise, at least this time. And what is this? This is another gateway. So 3-gate, 4-gate. Here's a 4-gate. There is a 4-gate. So Socke coming out with this 4-gate. He could very well just try to do some early aggression, and then with that, try to get that Expo. Actually surprised if he's going 4-gate Expo. He did just pull this worker down, and he may actually be doing that. Is he going to go 4-gate expo? That would be surprising to me. I want to see him push out with this 4-gate because 3-gate expo makes a lot more sense, especially Sentry Heavy, especially on this map. Sentry is going to be very effective at stopping those pushes from coming through and protecting your units early game. But I don't know. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be starting off with this push first. So doing that 4-gate push and then expanding. We can see Dimaga hiding quite a bit of forces back here. Dimaga expecting that push actually is fully aware. I wish that I must have missed something, but he must have scouted something out. He probably just seen the vast amount of units here. So yeah, going to be working up, and there's that hallucinated Phoenix. Really loving that hallucination research here from Socke. Getting that scouting can be very, very effective, and he's going to see the amount of forces that his buddy Dimaga has. And he can see here, not really saturated much at all. I'm pretty sure that he scouted those guys down there, so he knows at this point that Dimaga is prepared for this push, and I think that as a result, he's just going to drop his expo. There's his forge right now, and yeah, I expect that expo to come down right now as well. So that was pretty nice there. We saw basically what we saw from Socke was he pushed out with that Phoenix Scout. He saw, hey, look, Dimaga's ready for this. Instead of throwing my units away, why don't I just go ahead and drop my expo? And that is, in fact, what he will be doing. And here he's pulling up those resources. Please just drop your expo. Don't make me look like a fool, Socke. Please don't make me look like a fool. Please drop your expansion. Or else I look like I don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, the general rule, the general idea of what we saw him do makes a lot of sense. And you can see protecting this, so obviously that expo is coming, but he's just holding back on that a lot because he is, in fact, trying to make me look like a fool. That's not very nice of you, Socke. I am not very impressed. So Dimaga coming out with his layer right now. Again, we can see those forces. He wasn't fully prepared for that possible 4-gate push. We can see, looks like Socke is going to start to play aggressively right now and just coming out with more pylons and continuously making me look like I don't know what I'm talking about. We can see Stalkers pushing forward. Going to be grabbing that Zergling. Zergling does manage to eke his way through, though. And Dimaga finally starting to work on that drone count a little bit, which, you know, while good, can also be incredibly dangerous. Now we can see right here moving out with a couple of Stalkers, just kind of testing the front door. Also another hallucinated Phoenix going down, so definitely loving the use of that. Is he finally going to drop that expo? It's all I've been talking about for the past like 2 minutes, for the love of God. And here comes that other scouting Phoenix, again spotting pretty much everything. Queen's doing what they can to take it down, but actually going to make it straight on through. He sees a layer pop. He's not going to see what comes as a result of that. Are we going to get any tech? Or here we go. Here comes a push right now. It's very, very Sentry Heavy leading the front. Actually, want to make sure those Zealots get up front. And here we go. Here comes the push. This can be a little devastating. Dimaga has quite a bit, though, as defense. And what these guys just chilling out here right out front. You going to do something with them, or are we just going to hang out over here? It looks like they're just on a little coffee break, poking and prodding. There we go. Finally decides to make this engagement happen. And nice force fields being laid down, but having a rough time actually pushing on through. And yeah, looks like he is actually going to be making his way back on home. Now taking a look in Socke's base, Socke's going to be dropping that robotics, so there you have it. Going to be following that up most likely, of course, with that Bay, allowing him to get those Colossus. But yeah, deciding not to push was just, I don't know, just kind of dancing around with Dimaga there. Having his units at the front of his base, again, walking into that would have been quite difficult with those Spine Crawlers, and the Roaches, of course, would have been able to hit any of those Zealots if they tried to push anywhere relatively close. And the truth is, he couldn't actually do any damage besides to those Spine Crawlers. He wasn't in a position to actually push on into the hatchery and do anything. And as we saw, you know, Dimaga has quite a few forces. I tell you though, force fields, man, they're quite devastating to deal with. Very, very difficult and frustrating. One Zealot spotting right over here, most likely looking for a possible expo. And actually, did we just see a drone try to push on over? Yes, we did. So drone moving on over. Dimaga gonna actually be trying expo over here, and this is really good for Socke. Socke's gonna spot that. We just saw the red dots on the ground as Dimaga was ordering his drone to head on over here. So nice placement there. Again, continuing up this consistent scouting here. Dimaga does need to expand, and look at that Zealot spotting it, taking 2 shots at that drone. I think the drone's still gonna make it on through though. Is he still going to drop the expo? Yes, he doesn't even care that Socke knows about this. He still wants to drop the expo. You can see bringing some Zerglings over here to deal with any possible threats. The speed of the Zerglings, obviously, letting him basically handle any pushes against this third much more easily. Now, again, the idea, of course, is that Dimaga needs to try to be 1 base above his Protoss opponent, Socke. So that is why he was expecting that third to drop down, and, you know, Socke spotted that. But still, Dimaga's going to do all he can to defend it. Continuing up this creep spread clear across the map, going to make make reinforcing over there and defending both areas much easier, but still difficult. Being able to defend someplace so far away from your main and your natural is going to be difficult. And what do we have going on over here? Some Mutalisks in play. So that was a tech choice that we saw Dimaga go for after dropping that layer. So going to be seeing some Muta harass right now. Definitely going to be interested to see how effective this is going to be. He obviously wants to stay far, far away from the army of Socke, and especially with being so sentry heavy. Those Guardian shields pretty much make the splash damage of these Mutas null and void. I mean, obviously in general with Mutas, you try to just avoid the main army. Look at this spine crawler wall going up here from Dimaga. This is obviously going to be spotted by Socke here with his observer, but very nice. I really like that forward kind of aggressive spine crawler placement. This is of course quite a few crawlers. We got a Spore coming in here as well to spot any observers. It's not going to actually be able to reach that one as far as detection vision is concerned, but if anything pushes in, he'll catch it. Also will catch any DT if they try to sneak their way on across the board, and there goes that Muta harassment at the same time. He took down something. Unfortunately, I missed it. I'm not sure if that was just a pylon or if that was actually a building. We do have a Dark Shrine coming through, though. Where is that bad boy? Dark Shrine, where art thou? That's not it. Try to find this here. I know it's because there we go. So Dark Shrine coming on from Socke. But again, with this Spore Crawler, Dark Shrine's actually not going to be able to poke on. I mean, sorry, the DT, once they come out, will not be able to poke on through. Either way, he's going to have to somehow warp in from another angle, maybe getting a Warp Prism. Could be a way to actually effectively use that. And yeah, lots of units here for Socke. And Socke actually looks like he will be going for the high yield. Here comes that Muta harass, moving straight back on in. Going to be poking down this pylon, and then probably heading on back out before those units come on down. So yeah, that's basically all you want to do with Mutas. Take those just small little wins whenever you can. Take a quick look here at the Army tab. Looks like we do have an advantage right now to Dimaga 98 as opposed to that 75. Obviously, those Socke sitting so sentry heavy makes it much easier to cut back those forces and kind of even up those numbers. But man, oh man, Dimaga sitting with lots of forces right here. And here we go. Mutas continue to move in. Actually, might be trying to take a few shots here. Going to be spotting this Dark Shrine here. And Blink Stalker is going to force him to pull back right now. Getting that one kill off and then deciding to retreat. And we do have that one DT trying to sneak its way on through, but it's of course not going to make its way on up. It's going to get spotted right here as it tries to pass, and it should get attacked. There we go. So just within that detection vision there, it was spotted, and like I mentioned, with this up here, there's going to be no DT actually sneaking in the base. We do have a couple over here, though, working on this Expo. Does he have an Overseer coming on over? Does he have one coming on over? I don't think he does, so I'm not going to actually be able to do anything about that. He's got one Overseer warping in right now, but he's going to lose this hatchery. So hatchery gets dropped, and at the same time, looks like Socke's getting prepared for a push. He's going to be very hard-pressed to walk into this wall, though. This is very daunting indeed. I'm really liking this placement. And here we go. Engagement coming on down. Zerg going to try to push forward, just narrowly escaping the death grasp there of those force fields. Blink Stalkers, though, working, and look at those force fields. Socke's going to tear right through these crawlers, and more force fields going down. Not looking good right now. Muta's trying to move in and engage with these Stalkers, doing what they can. There's actually quite a few Mutas. They're actually going to be doing okay against this, and even with this consistent force field, as a result of being so sentry heavy, yes, he had a lot of force fields, but he doesn't have a very strong army as a result, and look, Dimaga able to just push up against that. Once all of those force fields dissipated, he's just able to walk right through his army. Those sentries not very strong aggressive units. There are more utility units, of course, and he had so many sentries, was able to lay so many force fields, but didn't have a strong enough army to actually deal with what Dimaga is throwing at him. Now he's evening up the numbers a little bit using that Blink Micro, but still there are quite a few Mutas on the board here. And even though Mutas aren't necessarily good against Stalkers, with these Zerglings and Roaches, they're going to be doing quite well, I would have to say. And this is not looking good right now for Socke. Socke's losing almost all of his forces, down to 14 army supplies, opposed to the 57. Dimaga going to be taking out this Expo. Socke back onto one base. He doesn't have a lot going on. Very low on resources as well. Now he does have this one DT moving around, but I don't think it's going to do much. We do have this Overseer over here. Going to be spotting that. He's not actually doing any damage to this Expo either. And again, yeah, Socke's Expo is pretty much done. In fact, Dimaga not even bothering with it. Just going to be rolling straight into the main. He's pretty comfortable with the fact that he likely has this game at this point. Going to be there. There we go. So there is the GG from Socke. So nice game between these two players. This was a best of 3 series or whatever, something like that. Yes, it was a best of 3 series, and we did see Dimaga, of course, did come out on top. Really nice game. I'll be trying to bring to you maybe a couple more games today. Hopefully, if I have the time, we will find out. Just nice play by both players. I really liked that wall there, that spine crawler wall, and Socke responded very nicely by going force field heavy, being able to take out those spine crawlers. But again, like I mentioned, he had so many sentries, which allowed him to lay all those force fields, but as a result, just made kind of the bulk of his army relatively weak, especially against this kind of Roach, Zergling, Muta mix that we saw Dimaga go with. So nice series between these two players. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Remember, as always, if you like the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, keep watching, and keep owning.